All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Moorpark College Counseling live chat and webcast. My name is Danny Aguilar. I'm a counselor here at Moorpark College. We're very excited to be doing this for the very first time and happy to have you with us here tonight. So whether you're coming to us directly from high school, or maybe you've been to another college before, or maybe took some time off before starting your college journey, we certainly hope to make the transition as smooth as possible for you. So this is something that we've wanted to do for quite some time now, but it's something that I had a couple of folks help me with, and they were very instrumental in putting this together for us. So I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves, and we'll go ahead and start with Jennifer. But it's something that I had a couple of folks help me with, and they were very instrumental in putting this.
Jennifer, and I'm a adjunct counselor here, and I guess I'll pass it off to Erin.
Hi guys, I'm Erin. I'm also an adjunct counselor here at Moorpark College, and we're excited to answer your questions tonight.
All right, thank you, ladies. So just a little bit more about myself. I started back here at Moorpark College back in 2008, and then I worked at a couple of other colleges, but was fortunate enough to come back to Moorpark College about 3 years ago, and I've loved every second of my time here at Moorpark College. And a big part of that has been, working with our students. So whether it's working with students at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end, it's just been a fantastic journey so far. And as you make your way onto our campus, I think one of the things that you'll quickly notice is just the warmth and the generosity of our staff. And I think that's what really makes, Moorpark College a special place. So again, we're here to answer any questions that you have. So just some kind of logistical thing. So there's a couple of different ways that you can ask us questions. So the easiest way is on YouTube on the right-hand side. You'll see the live chat function there. So this is all sort of user content driven, if you will. We don't have anything, we're not going to go through like a 30-minute or hour presentation for you. We're here to answer your questions. So at any point, if you have any questions, go ahead and start typing them out on the live chat function there, and we'll get to them. You can also ask your questions through our Twitter account. So for you Twitter users, if you use the hashtag #AskMoorpark, we'll go ahead and monitor that throughout the time that we're here tonight and answer questions through that function. So really briefly, I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to go through some steps for new students. And for most of you, these are things that you're probably already familiar with or that you've already completed, but nonetheless, we'll do some quick review. So obviously the first thing that you want to do as to get started here is apply for admission. So if you've never taken any classes here at Moorpark College, or if you've been away for more than a year, then you'll want to go online to our website, moorparkcollege.edu, look for that apply and enroll section, and go ahead and submit your application for admission. You'll hear back, within a day or two, and then once you have that confirmation email, then you'll be assigned a student ID number. So if you have a 900 number, that's your student ID number, so that means you've applied for admission. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and set up your MyVCCD portal. So obviously we live in an online world, we're doing this online today, but a lot of the things that you're going to be asked to do throughout the time that you're here are going to be online, and they're specifically going to be done online through that MyVCCD portal. So it's something that you want to set up and that you want to log into and become familiar with and learn how to navigate it, because it's something that you're going to use regularly throughout the time that you're here. And one of the first things that you're going to do once you log into your portal as a new student is you're going to complete a math and an English assessment. So this is something that's pretty unique to Moorpark College. We're one of the few schools that actually does our assessments 100% online. And so on your MyVCCD portal, you'll find a tab that's called My Success, and that's where you can find both the math and the English assessments. Once you've done the assessments, then the next thing you'll want to do is do an online orientation. So this is something that you also find on that My Success tab through your My VCCD portal. So it's a video that you'll spend the better part of 30 minutes going through, but a lot of good and useful information to help you get started here at Moorpark College. And finally, the last step that you want to complete as a new student is to utilize a program. It's a degree audit tool that we call DegreeWorks, and that's where you'll have an opportunity to build your first semester educational plan. So those are sort of the things that you hopefully have already completed up to this point, but if you haven't had a chance to complete those, then you want to go ahead and get started with them as soon as possible. So I see some questions coming in on our live chat, so I'll go ahead and let Jennifer take the first question here. Jennifer?
Okay, so hi. Okay, so the first question is about the nursing science program here. And so I'm glad that you already have an appointment with a counselor on the 10th. But just to go over a brief overview, so if you haven't gone to a nursing workshop, I definitely recommend the nursing workshop, only because they'll go over all the admission criteria, how they score applications, because it is on a point system, and also you'll be able to meet the nursing counselor as well. And so just to go over a little bit about the application requirements, they do need to see in your application some required courses completed with a grade already, and so that is human anatomy, which has no prerequisites, so you are able to enroll right into human anatomy. Physiology, that does have some prerequisites, so it's something that you want to be aware of. You have to have at least 1 year of high school chemistry with, or have Chem 11 or Chem 12 from Moorpark College, and then also have Anatomy MO1 completed or concurrently enrolled. And so because if you are using a 1 year of high school chemistry, you do want to see an express counselor to get that human physiology prerequisite cleared. You also want to have general microbiology, and that is that also has prerequisites. So it's 1 year of high school chemistry or Chem 11 or Chem 12, and either physio completed or bio MO2A completed. So most students take the microbiology last because they'll take the physio already and then have that chemistry already completed as well. There is also the English MO1A requirement. It is a AA degree requirement as well, and you can self-assess into that during your application process, or during the online assessment portion. And then also Math MO3, and that is intermediate algebra, or you can also place into a higher transferable math course, and that can also suit the math required for the nursing criteria.
Awesome, thank you, Jennifer. So just to really quickly review. So we're looking for 5 prerequisites for our nursing program. So as Jennifer mentioned, math, English, anatomy, physiology, and microbiology are the classes that you'll need to apply to our nursing program here at Moorpark College. All right, so I'll go ahead and continue, and Erin has the next question for us.
All right, hi guys. So one of the questions I see next is from Ray, and it's asking, how do I know if a course is UC transferable? And that's actually a really great question. So the answer to your question is, if you actually go into the schedule of classes, you can look at the description of a course right there, and it will let you know if a course is UC or CSU transferable at the end of the description of that course. Your other option would be to look at the college at the course description there, and it will tell you at the end if the course is UC or transferable.
All right, thank you, Erin. I think we might have had a little bit of an issue with an echo there. So just to really quickly summarize, in terms of how do I know if a course is UC transferable? So a couple of different ways that we can find that information. Probably the easiest way is if we're looking on the schedule of classes. If you go ahead and click on the CRN number towards the top, you'll see some information, and it will tell you if the class applies to an associate degree, if it's Cal State transferable, or UC transferable. So that's the easiest way. And then, of course, you can always look in our college catalog online, and in the course description, it will give you that information as well. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So I saw a question regarding counseling appointments. So how do I get a counseling appointment? A couple of different ways that we can get a counseling appointment. So first way is in person. If you visit our center kiosk in Fountain Hall, you can come in and schedule a counseling appointment, and usually schedule about a week ahead of time. So let's say you come in tomorrow, Friday morning, you come into our office and you want to schedule an appointment. It'll probably be for the following Friday and so on. You can also call in to our counseling office, 805-378-1428, and you can schedule an appointment that way as well. And then lastly, we also offer video counseling appointments. So very similar to what we're doing now. We actually utilize Google Hangouts, and we can meet with you via the Google Hangout platform and have an appointment that way. So if you go to our website, moorparkcollege.edu/counseling, go to our online counseling section there, and there'll be directions on how to schedule an online video counseling appointment. All right, Jennifer, any question?
All right, so the next question is about career, and if you're unsure about your career, what is recommended to take for classes to explore your ideas? So that's a great question. So we actually have 2 counseling courses that we recommend. One is our counseling MO2 class. It's an online course. It's called Career and Life Planning, and that can help explore some career options. We also have a counseling M20 course. It's not as long as the counseling M20 utilizes the online assessments that we have, and then you'll be able to meet with the counselor and go over your assessments and possibly different options in career-wise. We also possibly recommend, just to start off with, so you have a couple classes under your belt, take some general education courses that interesting to you and that you may want to explore. You can also, if that's a class that you're interested in, you start liking it a lot, maybe talk to your professor as well and talk to them, get their expertise on that subject and see if that's something you want to explore too. And then also, once you have maybe some classes under your belt, you can also do internships within that discipline or within that academic major. And so, we have internship opportunities, and so that may be able to help you explore some career options too.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. So Aaron, let's see, I think you have our next question.
Working now? There we go. Okay. There was a question kind of going back to nursing again, that it was, how do I start the program? Well, first, those 5 prerequisites that we were talking about have to be completed before you can even apply to get into the nursing program. So first, you complete those 5 prerequisite courses, and then from there, you'll be able to apply and hopefully start the nursing program as soon as you're accepted in. There's different application time periods throughout the year. One would be more towards the summer, one is more in the winter time period. But again, that would be more information that you definitely will be able to get in that nursing workshop.
All right, thank you, Aaron. All right, so we'll go to our next question. Looks like we got a question regarding transferring or getting a bachelor's degree in biology at a Cal State before moving on to medical school. All right, so to transfer to a Cal State, or really any UC, Cal State, or any school as a biology major, there's some pretty uniform classes that you're going to find throughout. So obviously, biology classes are going to be required. So for example, here at Moorpark College, there are 2 classes that you'll typically have to take here prior to transfer. That's Biology 2A followed by Biology 2B. So those are 2 core biology classes that you'll need here. Also, chemistry is a big part of any biology major. So same thing, there's a couple of chemistry classes that you'll need here at Moorpark, Chem 1A and Chem 1B. And then depending on the school you're transferring to, you might also need to take organic chemistry here before transferring. So that would be Chem 7A and Chem 7B. And then the other part of the biology major is math and physics. So usually some type of calculus is required prior to transferring. And then, of course, like any other major, you have your general education classes. So that's going to include things like English composition, public speaking, classes like history, classes in the arts, in an area called the humanities. We actually have an associate degree for transfer in biology here at Moorpark College. So that's something that you can find on our website. If you go to moorparkcollege.edu, under services for students, click on the articulation page, and then you'll find a section where it says associate degree for transfer, and then you'll see the degree for biology there. So if you click on that, you'll see the requirements for that degree, and that'll more or less satisfy the requirements to be able to transfer to a Cal State as a biology major. Certainly, we recommend that whenever you have the opportunity that you come and meet with the counselor one-on-one so that we can develop a long-term educational plan. But if you follow that associate degree path, then you're in pretty good shape to be able to meet requirements for transfer. All right, Jennifer, looks like we have our next question with you.
All right, so about AP scores. So AP scores can go into effect for Moorpark College credits. We do accept AP credits when you receive a 3 or higher. Depending on if you want to transfer or not, though, some of those AP scores, they can go into general education. They can go into what we call the AGETSI, which is the general education pattern for the UCs and CSUs. But sometimes, just depending on what college you want to go to, possibly what major, depending on the score, and if they do accept the AP credit for that specific topic, we just always want to double check that. So that's something you'd want to go over in an individual appointment, especially when you have, your colleges that you want to apply to. We'll just double check with you to make sure that we can use that AP credit towards that college and that specific major. And and you also had asked about signing up for English M1B and Spanish MO3, and they do need prereqs. And so yes, you do want to send in your high school transcript and AP scores before your registration date. It won't allow you to sign up for those courses unless we have those prereqs cleared already. And so we do have the online prerequisite form that you can use under the Moorpark College counseling website. And so we do recommend giving us at least 72 hours to respond, just in case, depending on the flow of traffic in the office as well. But you can also come into express counseling. We can just use unofficial high school transcripts. You can use unofficial AP scores. So if you bring your laptop, or if you have a smartphone and you have your AP scores on your phone, we can verify that way. Just because I know official transcripts and official scores can take sometimes longer to get to the college. So we are able to use unofficials. We don't have a fax, but you can screenshot it, send a PDF through the online prerequisite request.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. So we'll turn to Erin now, who has our next question.
All right, so the next question is about walk-in Wednesdays that we have in the office. So as Jennifer was mentioning before, we have express counseling where typically any day of the week you come in and it's a quick 10 to 15 minute question. But on Wednesdays, we actually have what we're calling walk-in Wednesdays, where you come in to express counseling and we will answer any question that you have, no matter how long it's going to take on Wednesdays. You basically, when you come into Fountain Hall, there is the big center welcome desk. On one of the sides there, next to the counseling office, pretty much, there is a computer that you can sign in on. You just need your student ID number. You sign in there, and then when it's your turn, a counselor will call you to speak with you. And we're happy to answer and help with anything during that time. Sometimes waits can be a little bit long, so we just ask you to bear with us. But we'll make sure that we get through whatever questions that you have on a walk-in Wednesday. And this Wednesdays were kind of set up that way too, because sometimes students will say, it's kind of hard to book an appointment with a counselor. So if you're having issues with that ever, again, walk-in Wednesday is a great option for you to come in and see us.
Great. All right. Thank you, Erin. All right. So it looks like our next question here, let me make sure I read this correctly. Got a question about a multilingual seal in my diploma for completing 4 years of Spanish. So Does that count or help me in any way? So a couple of different ways. So if you completed 4 years of Spanish in high school, it all really depends on what your goals are. So for example, the UCs, as part of their general education requirements, have a language other than English requirement. So if you completed that much Spanish, you can certainly satisfy that particular requirement with that coursework. Also, if you're looking to do any college or advanced Spanish classes here in college, whether it's like a Spanish 3, or Spanish 4, we can certainly use that coursework to help you clear the prerequisite to be able to take those higher level Spanish classes. But it all depends, again, on what your objective is. But it can certainly help you satisfy, at least 1 or 2 requirements, or help you get in to some higher level classes. So again, whenever you have the opportunity, we certainly invite you to come in and speak to a counselor. So we just talked about Walk-in Wednesday as a great resource for you to use. But we also have online counseling. So I mentioned the video appointments, that's one. But we also have an online counseling form that you can fill out, whether with any question you need a prerequisite clear, where you have just any kind of general question. You can go ahead and fill out our online counseling form, and we'll get back to you. Usually, sometimes the same day, but usually no more than 48 hours before we're able to get back to you. All right, Jennifer, you have our next question.
All right, so it looks like John took AP Calculus AB in high school, got the 4 on the test. That's great, good to hear. And you're interested in UCSB in engineering. So UCSB does have engineering, but there is there's different types of engineering. There's electrical, there's mechanical, there's computer engineering. So it may depend on what engineering you want to take. Based upon UCSB's AP credit on their website, which you are able to look into, they do take the 4 on the Calculus AB, and that does count towards their Mathematics 3A, 15, 34A. And so just to take as an example for their electrical engineering, they require Math 3A as part of their major prep, and so that is equivalent to our 25A, and so that would work for their major prep for that specific engineering major. And so we can clear you so that you are able to take 25B instead of taking the 25A. And yes, because engineering has a lot of major prep courses, and a lot of them are sequential, they do recommend taking or finishing the GEs while you're at UCSB. It can balance out your upper division load there. And so what they're really looking for is that major prep being completed so that you're a competitive applicant, and they ready to courses in engineering once you transfer.
All right, great. Thank you, Jennifer. All right, Aaron, you have our next question.
All right, so Jenny asked, what is the average number of units someone would take over the summer? And so that question actually can vary a lot. It's a student-by-student situation. There is no required number of units you would need to take over the summer. Our summer is kind of broken up into a few different sessions. So there is 3 4-week sessions. There is a 6-week session, and then there's an 8-week session. So it really all depends on the class that you're wanting to take or classes you're wanting to take. The maximum number of units that you're allowed to take over the summer is 9. So if there's anything above 9 units that you're wanting to take over the summer, you would just have to come in and petition to take more than that. And that's something that you could come to Express Counseling to get the petition for academic overload. And we'd be happy to discuss, the certain requirements that you have to meet for that, because there are, GPA requirements and everything like that. But again, it's more on a case-by-case basis where we would have to look at it.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Let's see, looks like Jenny has another question here. This is in regards to AP Biology. So if you successfully completed that exam, question is, does it count for the lab, for both lab and for lecture? And the answer is yes. So if you successfully completed the AP Biology exam with a 3, 4, or 5, then it will meet both your lecture and your lab requirement for general education purposes. So if you're following, for example, what's called the I-GETC pattern of general education, then you'll satisfy 2 areas. That's your life science and your lab with that AP exam. All right. Let's see. Jennifer, you have our next question?
Yeah, so what is the prereq for English MO1B? So the prereq for English MO1B is taking English MO1A and completing it with a C or better. If you've taken the AP exam, so the AP English language composition or the English language and literature, you are able to clear that prereq so that you are able to take English MO1B. If you have taken the AP exam, then you will want to make sure you use our online prerequisite form or come in to express and show us the AP score so that we can clear you in order to take English MO1B.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. And just a quick sort of follow-up to that. So I actually met with 2 students today who actually just completed the AP exam a couple of months ago, and it sounds like AP scores are scheduled to be released on Sunday, July the 9th. So if you're in that boat, then as soon as you have those AP scores, then again, you can either come into the counseling office first thing on Monday morning or anytime next week, or do our online prerequisite form to get that prerequisite cleared for English 1B. All right, Aaron, go ahead.
All right, so the next question is from Marshayla. It says, hi, I live cross country and will be attending Moorpark this fall. Won't be moving down there till a week before the semester starts. How can I complete the whole admission process cross country? Well, you're in luck. The entire process is done online. So if you go to the Moorpark website, moorparkcollege.edu, and you go to the Apply and Enroll tab, on there is Apply for Admission. You click that. It takes you to another website where you just have to fill out the whole application process, and then everything from there can be completed online. You know, once you're able to come and meet with us in person, we're happy to help you out if you have any questions, or along the way, if you have questions, like Danny had mentioned before, we do have the online counseling that you could always, you know, send us a question through there, and we'd be happy to respond to you and help you through the process.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Aaron. So move on to our next question here, and this is in regards, let's see, what should I do if I want to change my major? So a couple of things here. So one, just in terms of changing your declared major, that's something that you can do online through your MyVCCD portal. So if you're on your portal, you want to look for that My College tab. And if you scroll down towards the bottom of the page, there's a section for that's titled My Student Records. And under that section, you'll see a link that's titled Update College Program and Goal. So once you click on that link, then you can change your major to whatever is on that list. So you can do that as often as you need to, you know, so that's a change that you can make on your own. Now, if you have questions in terms of, you know, what a new major might look like in terms of the classes you have to take, requirements, schools you might want to consider transferring to, then certainly, again, we want to invite you to come in and talk to a counselor, whether it's through Walk-In Wednesday, a scheduled appointment, or through a video counseling appointment. All right, Jennifer, next question.
All right, so does a 3 on AP Literature allow me to skip a class or take a higher level English course? And so yes, it does. So we do need to see that prereq, so we do need to see the score, unofficial AP score report, but yeah, we will be able to clear you in order to take a critical thinking course if you would like to. And then also, looks like you're interested, Tyler, in criminal justice as a major, and you want to transfer to UC school. So just to let you know, you'll see a lot of criminal justice majors in the Cal State system. So you may want to look into the Cal States if you are interested in a UC school, if that's more of your priority. UC Irvine has a criminology major, and the way that you can explore it on your own is one, using what this is a great resource. You're able to access it free, no account or anything. It's called assist.org. And there is an option where you can explore majors and where you can search, you can search in criminal justice, and it will show all the different Cal States and UC systems, or sorry, UC campuses that have that major, and then also if there's any like concentrations or options that you may want to look into, it'll also list those as well. And so I did just a quick search on that website right now, and just looked at criminal justice, and a lot of the Cal State schools have that. So if you are interested in criminal justice, for some Cal State schools, we do have the associate's degree to transfer in criminal justice. And you know what? A lot of our criminal justice professors have worked in the field as well. So you may want to, you know, talk to them during those classes and see what their life experiences were, and you know how they got to their career and what they've done.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. And this is a good time to sort of remind you that, remember, not every school out there offers every single major. So criminal justice is a great example of that. And as Jennifer mentioned, the criminal justice major or degree is something that you'll typically find at either the private school or Cal State setting. So not typically a major or degree that you're going to see at a UC. So, you know, just something to keep in mind. And one of those questions, one of those good questions that you can bring in when you meet with a counselor. All right, Erin, looks like you have our next question.
All right, so registering for classes, would it be paid automatically with financial aid? And the answer is yes. So if you have done the whole process that you need to complete financial aid, your courses will automatically be paid for with financial aid. However, if you have not done that process, it will not be paid automatically. So you're going to want to be aware of that, because we actually do have a system where you do need to pay your fees within 24 hours for your classes. Otherwise, you will be dropped. If you are not receiving financial aid, there is an option to set up a payment plan so you don't have to pay for it all up front. So that may be something that you want to explore if you're not receiving financial aid.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Erin. So for those of you that apply for financial aid, one of the things you want to look for is to see if you're awarded or you've qualified for what's called the BOG waiver, so BOG waiver. So that's going to help waive all of your enrollment fees. So if you're looking on your portal, you're looking at your financial aid status, and you're seeing that BOG waiver has been awarded to you, then you know that that's going to waive all of your enrollment fees, and you don't have to worry about getting dropped when you sign up for your classes. So that's definitely something that you want to look out for, and it's something you can look at through your MyVCCD portal under the financial aid tab. All right, so let's see. Our next question here is in regards to a chemistry major. So what classes should I be taking as a chemistry major, and also the honors program and taking honors classes, would that be helpful in being accepted into a UC school? So let's start with that part first, and then we'll circle back to some of the requirements for chemistry. So yeah, certainly being part of the honors program and taking honors classes can certainly be beneficial when it comes to the admissions process, particularly for some UC schools. So certainly, if that's something that you want to do and join and be part of the honors program, it can certainly benefit you from an admissions standpoint, particularly to schools like UCLA, UC Berkeley, and UC Irvine. So if those schools are on your radar, joining the honors program can certainly be of great benefit. And joining the honors program is pretty easy. So a couple of steps at the beginning is, one, you got to apply online. So if you go to moorparkcollege.edu, click on that Services for Students link, and then find the honors program webpage there. There's a very short application that you can complete and submit, and then you'll go through an honor, you'll be invited to an honors orientation if you meet the criteria to join the honors program. And then in terms of the chemistry major and what classes you should be taking, it's pretty straightforward. So obviously a lot of chemistry will be required. So one of the first classes that you'll be taking is called General Chemistry 1. That's Chemistry 1A. And so if you've already completed 1 year of high school chemistry and Algebra 2 or higher in high school, then you met the prerequisite to be able to start with that class. So you can start with that class in the fall, and then you'll take Chemistry 1B in the spring, and then continue with the rest of your chemistry requirements in your second year. If you've never completed a chemistry class or were not successful in high school, then you'll want to start with a class called Chem 12, M12, and that's an introductory to chemistry class. And the prerequisite for that is Algebra 1. So if you've successfully completed Algebra 1, then you can start with Chemistry 12. Along with chemistry, you know, you're going to have to do some calculus classes as part of the major. And then, of course, like we mentioned before, for any major, some general education requirements to go with those as well. But chemistry obviously will be the big focal point. That's part of your educational plan for a chemistry major. All right, Jennifer, looks like you have our next question.
Okay, so Tyler's asking about calculus AB. You received a B, that's awesome, but you didn't take the AP test, and that's okay. Because you're interested in a criminal justice major, so do you have to take calculus AB again to meet the math requirement? And so with the criminal justice major, most likely you want to be taking stats instead. So that is our math M15, and so we can clear you based off of your high school transcript. And so you probably don't need to take the calculus course. It's really going to depend on possibly what transfer schools that you want to apply to, but most criminal justice course or major prep will probably want math M15, and so you won't have to take calculus again.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. So let's see, we'll turn it over to Aaron now for our next question.
All right, so what classes would you recommend for someone who's planning to major in film editing? So what I would recommend is looking at our film, television, media program. There's a lot of really good courses in there. I would maybe, if you're planning on transferring, I would start with maybe FTVM MO3, because that will lead you towards that field, but also count as a general education requirement that maybe if you change your mind on what your major is, you would still be, you know, having it count towards something. So starting there would be a good spot, and then just looking further into the programs that they have available in the film, television, media discipline to see what other classes you can take.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Aaron. So let's see, let me go back to Gigi here. She looks like she has a follow-up in regards to the chemistry question, or the chemistry part that we were just talking about. Let's see, would you recommend if a chemistry honors class has only one seat remaining and there's only one chem honors class? So yeah, chemistry is a little tough because chemistry is one of those subjects that, so we talked about it earlier, how it's part of the biology curriculum, it's part of the nursing curriculum, and a lot of other majors require chemistry. So sometimes it's really tough to get into those chemistry classes. So even though you're a chemistry major, you don't necessarily feel like you have to take the honors chemistry class. Certainly, if it's available and you feel up to it, great, then go ahead and take it. But if it's one of those classes that's already closed, then you can certainly take the regular general chemistry class, and your honors units can come from other subjects. So don't feel like you have to absolutely take on the honors chemistry class if it's already full. I would not recommend that you wait until the spring to see if a spot opens in that honors chemistry class. I would try to take your chemistry as soon as possible if you're a chemistry major. Otherwise, it could delay your time to transfer. So definitely want to take any type of chemistry, whether it's regular or honors, come your first semester here at Moorpark College. All right, Jennifer, I'll turn it over to you for our next question.
All right, so Jenny is asking, do you know where to find audition info for the orchestra? So you can look under the academic section of our website, our Moorpark College website, and you can look under music, and they should have some information about how to contact the department chair and the orchestra instructor. I believe his name is James Song, or Nathan Bowen, and so you'd want to contact them in order to audition for the orchestra.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Let's see, Aaron, looks like you have our next question.
All right, so the question that I have is, I've completed my placement test. When should I bring my transcript? The answer is, I mean, as soon as possible. If you need to be cleared to take some classes based off of your high school transcript, you're going to want to bring your high school transcript in as soon as you can so that we can clear you to start in the proper classes. But other than that, I mean, if you don't need to be cleared for anything, there's no real rush, but you would like to, you should turn it in as soon as possible.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Let's see, Gigi, looks like we got another question from you again. So would we need to get prerequisites cleared for Chemistry 1B? Yes, if you successfully complete the AP Chemistry exam. And yeah, so we just talked about July 9th is the date that those AP results are going to be released for those of you that just completed your AP exams in May. But are we supposed to be registering for classes Chem 1A on Monday at 5 a.m.? All right, so let's go through this scenario. So if you successfully completed the AP exam, then you can potentially be cleared for chemistry 1B. It depends on the score that you earn and the school that you want to transfer to. So because this is a class that's going to be required for your major, depending on the school, especially the more competitive schools, are either going to want a 5 on that AP exam, or they might want you to just go ahead and take the college class, which is chemistry 1A. So it really depends on where you want to transfer to and the score that you earn on that AP exam. Okay, so once you see your results on July the 9th, so on Sunday, then I would try to come into the counseling office to talk to a counselor and figure out exactly what your next step is going to be with chemistry. Again, we need to be really careful with it, because just because you get a 3 or 4 does not automatically clear you to go into the next class. We need to be really, really careful with it. So when you see your results on Sunday, if you see that you successfully completed it, then try to do your best to go ahead and come on in to the counseling office, or if you can't come on in, then go ahead and utilize the online counseling forum, and then we'll try to advise you that way in terms of what we're going to do with chemistry. All right, Jennifer, you have our next question?
All right, so the next question is, so you know your date to register, but you don't know the specific time. So actually, the specific time, you can start registering at 5 a.m. if you wanted to on that date. And some people do wake up at 5 a.m. Depending on what courses you're trying to take. Some courses fill up fast, so maybe just the night before you can kind of look at what courses you want, see kind of how many spots are available, and that may determine if you want to wake up at 5 a.m. or not. But that's when you can start registering. Then you can register up till the first day of class.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Aaron, you have our next question?
All right, so Kim asks, what local university has the best medical program for working towards a RN degree and then a nurse practitioner's degree? So this is a pretty loaded question here, but nursing is tough no matter where you go, so it's competitive. So I kind of like to say whatever nursing program you get into is kind of the best one, because it can be that competitive that you may only get into one. So for the RN, it really depends on what you're trying to do. There's a lot of different routes that you can go to pursue your RN. The first being at a community college, you can pursue your associate's degree in nursing, which after completing that 2-year program would allow you to sit for the exam to be able to get your RN license. Then after that, if you wanted to, you could transition to a 4-year university and get your BSN, your Bachelor of Science in Nursing. After that is when you would be able to look into master's programs to get your nurse practitioner's license. There's also routes where you could, skip the associate's degree in nursing to your program at the community college and go straight into a BSN. So it really all depends on what you specifically want to do and what your goal is and what your time frame is to get this stuff done. But again, what's really nice with the RN program, specifically at Moorpark, and then looking at a lot of our local 4-year institutions, especially like Channel Islands, that our nursing program prerequisites and their nursing program prerequisites match up really, really well. Like they're almost exactly the same. So if you're looking to consider both of those as an option, it's basically complete the prerequisites and you'll probably end up applying to the programs at the exact same time. So hopefully you run into the great issue of you have to choose which one you want to go into. But there's a lot of different ways to go about nursing. So I know that you had mentioned before that you are going to be going to the nursing workshop and then hopefully meeting with a nursing counselor after that to get a lot of your specific questions answered, because nursing is pretty tough and tricky. So we're hoping to get a lot of your questions answered right now, but if they're not answered here, I promise they'll be answered in an appointment.
All right, thank you, Erin. So let's see, let's hear to Priscilla now, and her question is, I've already applied to FAFSA already and completed the requirements, but I'm not sure how I'm supposed to receive the financial aid. All right, so here is where our MyVCCD portal is going to be a really good resource and a really good starting point. So if you log into your portal, you should see a financial aid tab right in the middle. And when you click on that tab, one of the first things you're going to see is the status of your requirements. So ideally, what you want to see is on that list of requirements, all green check marks. If all your requirements are marked off in green, then great. You've done everything you needed to be able to qualify and receive your financial aid. If there's any requirement that has a red flag or a red X next to it, then that's a requirement that you need to address and follow up with the financial aid office with to make sure that you're in line to be able to get your aid in the fall. Now, in terms of how you're going to get your financial aid, that now comes in the form of a debit card that you'll get in the mail. So at some point, if you're eligible, for example, what's called a Pell Grant, then you'll receive a debit card in the mail, and then whatever amount you're eligible for will be loaded onto that card during the first week of school. Okay, but again, your first stop is going to be on that MyVCCD portal. Look at that financial aid tab to make sure that all those requirements are marked off in green. And then certainly you can also visit the financial aid office here in Fountain Hall. They're on the first floor. You can check in there and you can ask any financial aid specific questions you might have in regards to your specific file. All right, so I'll turn it over to Jennifer for our next question.
All right, so the next question is from Ray. What is the college level of math and English? And so I'll answer the English one first. It's a little bit shorter than the math. So the transferable English is English MO, or the college level is English MO1A, English composition course. The 4-unit course, you're able to using our English online assessment. It is required in order to get an associate's degree from Moorpark College. It is also a minimum admission requirement in order to transfer to UCs and CSU schools. The college level math course, so that can range from Math MO5, which is college algebra, Math M15, stats, pre-calc, or Math MO7. For the CSUs, you're also able to take Math M10, which is math for elementary teachers. That is students who are looking into getting a bachelor's in their liberal studies, going into their teaching prep option. There's also Math MO6. And then also we also have our calc courses. So if you're STEM major, you're probably going into, you know, our 25A and higher, so Calc 2, Calc 3. And so sometimes depending on what your major is, you know, if you are a STEM major, you may want to take the pre-calc course, Math MO7. Like I said, if you're liberal studies, want to go into teaching, Math M10 for Cal State schools. Or if you're a social science major, say psychology, sociology, you may want to take the Math M15 Intro to Stats course. So sometimes it does depend on your major. You know, we can look at the major prep for your specific goal, specific transfer schools if you're planning to transfer, and see which math they may require.
All right, great. Thank you, Jennifer. Erin?
All right, so I got another nursing question here. So after I graduate, I'll be transferring to a 4-year college BSN program, but every college has different prereqs. How do I decide which prereqs to take at Moorpark if every college I'm interested in has varying prereqs? For example, UC Irvine requires statistics, but UCLA requires applied calculus. Which one would I take? So Ren, this is a tough question, and it's kind of where you need to make some decisions about what you want to do, because if you want to apply to both UCLA and UC Irvine, you would need to have the requirements met for both schools. So that would mean that you would need to take both the calculus and the statistics courses. I would also encourage you, if you're getting frustrated by how varied all of the requirements are, I would encourage you to look at some of the Cal State nursing programs, because those schools tend to have the prereqs more aligned, that they're pretty much the same across the board with the CSUs. The UC nursing programs are extremely competitive to get into, and they require a lot more as well. So if you are looking to maybe get into a BSN program as soon as possible, that's just a few things I would tell you to take a look at is the CSUs. But if you're looking to, you know, apply to both of those UCs, you're just going to have to do both of those math courses.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Erin. All right, so let's see. Our next question here is from Andrea. And question is, where can I find what classes I need in order to transfer and receive my AA degree? All right, so it really depends on what associate degree and where we want to transfer to, right? So those are two important pieces of information there that we need to figure out exactly what classes you want to take. But there are a couple of different resources that we can utilize. The first one is a website. It's called assist.org. So assist.org. Here in counseling, especially when it comes to transfer, I mean, that's really our bread and butter, if you will. So if you're looking at transfer requirements for any UC or any Cal State, that's probably going to be one of your first stops. And so you can go on to that website. You don't need any kind of special access, password, or anything like that. Anybody with an internet connection can visit the website and utilize the information. The other resource that we can use is, depending on what your major is, we might have what's called the associate degree for transfer. I mentioned that earlier. And if we do, then that's also another resource to figure out exactly what classes are going to get you an associate degree and are also going to help you to meet transfer requirements. All right. Let's see. Jennifer, I think you have our next question.
So Priscilla's asking, is bringing high school transcripts mandatory? So no, it's not mandatory. We do recommend bringing them in though, sending official transcripts, or at least bringing unofficial so we can clear you possibly for some prerequisites. You know, if you've taken Algebra 2 with the C or better in both semesters, we can possibly clear you in order to take a transferable math course. Taking high school chemistry with a C or better, you know, we can possibly clear you in order to take our general chem course, possibly our general bio. If you have 2 years of a foreign language with a C- or better, we can waive the requirement for our GETC. So one of the UC general education requirements is having a 1 semester foreign language, or taking 2 years at the high school level with a C- or better. And so we're able to waive that requirement, say that you've completed that based upon your high school transcript. So if you have that, you know, we do recommend bringing those in, but it is not mandatory. You don't need to send those transcripts or have them in before you register those in yet. Your registration is July 10th. Go ahead and register for your courses. Depending on your courses, like we've said before, you know, we may need to clear some prereqs, and that's really what we're using your high school transcripts for.
Great. Thanks, Jen. All right, Erin?
All right, so the question is, I have the BOG waiver, and I'm not sure how it's applied when I register for classes. Is it automatically on my MyVCCD account? Yes, your BOG is automatically applied. So when you register for classes, it's basically going to tell you you owe $0, which is awesome. So yeah, there isn't any other steps you need to do, and you won't need to pay for your classes.
All right, great. Let's see. Our next question is from Tyler here. So, can I register for classes during my counselor meeting because I'm not sure what to take, but I don't want to be too late to get into those classes? So when you meet with the counselor, yes, we'll certainly talk about what classes to take, and we'll develop an educational plan to figure that out. Now, we typically do not register your classes for you. Certainly, we can go through the steps and show you how you're going to do that online, but you're not actually going to register for classes with a counselor. But you know, once we've gone through all of the steps, I think you're going to find it pretty easy to do, and it's something that you'll figure out pretty quickly, you know, how to do online. So you're not going to quite be able to do it together with a counselor, but we'll go through all the steps and we'll show you how to do it, so that you're comfortable doing it on your own. We also have computers on the first floor here in Fountain Hall. So if there's a part where you get stuck, you know, there's certainly somebody out there that can help you navigate through it and get you into the classes that you need to. All right, Jennifer?
All right, so Gigi's asking about transfer. Looks like you're thinking about transfer to UCSD, UCI, or UC Davis. That's awesome. And asking if You should get cleared English MO1A or chemistry, especially if you got the 5 on the AP exam. So that's something that we'd want to look into individually. So based off of your major, just in case, you know, sometimes majors are in different colleges within the university, and so that may determine about the AP credit. Just looking off of UCSD, so they will take the English composition AP exam and clear that for their entry level writing requirement. I'm not sure for UCI or UC Davis yet. That's something we would have to look up during a counseling appointment, or even during Express. We can look at that as well. But just for time's sake, at least, you know, for UCSD, just because that was your first one that you've mentioned, I just looked that up real quick, and they do waive that entry level writing requirement. But does look I think my computer just died.
Ooh.
All right, so it looks like Jen's having some technical issues. But just to follow up, in terms of the list of schools you had there, Davis will also take the AP English exam with a 3 or higher, and then Irvine is the one that we'll have to look up when you come in. But for San Diego and for Davis, you'll be just fine. All right, Aaron, so we'll throw it to you for our next question.
All right. Does English MO1A need a prereq? Technically, yes, it does have a prerequisite of English MO2. However, when you take that English assessment, when you first register for the school and sign up and everything, that online English assessment that you're going to be doing, it places you into one of 3 English classes. So it'll place you into either MO3, MO2, or MO1A. And MO1A is that transfer college level English that we're looking that you'll need to complete. So you could possibly have to place into English MO2, but again, that's all based off of that assessment that you would be taking. What is nice is that our assessment is a self-placement, so even if you felt confident in your English skills and you wanted to take MO1A, even though it suggests like MO2 or MO3, you can totally just jump right into MOA. It's kind of your choice.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Let's see, next question here is from Alexandra. Does art history M10 honors need a prerequisite? So she's registering pretty soon here. So the answer is no. That class does not have a prerequisite. So as long as the class is open, then you can register in the class, or if it's waitlisted, then you can put yourself on the wait list. You do not need to clear a prerequisite for that particular class. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the next question. Let's see. Is there a deadline to bring transcripts? No, not necessarily a deadline, but remember, if you're trying to get a prerequisite cleared and we need those transcripts, then we can't clear the prerequisite until you bring them in. So if you bring the transcripts in next Thursday and we clear you then that's when you'll be able to sign up for the class. So technically not a deadline to bring those in if you need a clear prerequisite, but remember, the longer you wait, then the more the chance increases that that class might start to fill. All right, so let's see. So Aaron, you want to go ahead and tackle the next question, then we'll go to Jennifer after that.
Yeah. So the next question is again back from Kim about the best program for nursing. So like someone else mentioned, you will be able to go back and watch the live stream once we've concluded. It'll be posted on our YouTube page. But just short answer for you right now, the best one is the one you get into. But other than that, yeah, you can go back and watch the whole long answer later on when it's over. All
right, thanks, Aaron. Jennifer, it looks like you're back with us. Are you able to take the next question for us?
Gold Lion.
Yes.
So it sounds like so you sign into Moorpark College in November for the fall semester. You did get any messages from us. So I'm not really sure what you're asking, but if you are talking about the application, if you haven't taken any last fall courses or spring courses, you may want to reapply to Moorpark College. So you'd be, you just reapply just the same way as you had applied the first time. You'd keep your 900 number. Most likely, maybe like a day or two to get the welcome to Moorpark College, get reassign your 900 number. And so if you haven't received it though, between like 48, 72 hours, I would recommend calling our admissions office or coming into Fountain Hall. They're on the first floor. So their admissions phone number, 805-378-1429, in case you haven't gotten that welcome email yet. And so that way you're able to activate your portal and be able to register for this upcoming fall semester.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Let's see. I'm going to take Priscilla's follow-up question here. So she just wants to confirm, so I don't need to bring transcripts before registering for classes. So that's correct. You don't necessarily need to bring in transcripts before you register for classes. Again, provided that you're not signing up for any classes that have prerequisites. Okay. So as long as you're signing up for classes that do not have any prerequisites, then you don't have to worry about getting your transcripts in, within the next couple of weeks. Certainly if you have high school transcripts or transcripts from another college, you want to, submit those when you get a chance, but no huge rush if you're not going to clear prerequisites with any of those transcripts. So you're going to look on the schedule of classes, and it'll tell you there whether or not the class has a prerequisite. Okay, so that's how you're going to know whether or not the class has a prerequisite. So earlier, the question was in regards to art history, so that class does not have a prerequisite. So that's an example of a class that we don't need to see a transcript for. Okay. Let's see, Erin, are you ready for our next question?
Yeah. So if I'm unable to physically bring my high school transcript to Moorpark, is there any other way to provide Moorpark with my transcript to clear myself for certain classes? The answer is yes. So Jennifer before mentioned that online prerequisite clearance form that you can find on the Moorpark website. You go to the counseling page, and there's a link to it on the counseling page for online prerequisite clearance. If you go ahead and click that, it'll send an email, and people will respond to you again, like Jennifer said, 72 hours at the latest, and you'll be able to attach your transcript to them once they respond to you, and they'll be able to help you with getting your classes cleared.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Erin. Jennifer? All right, so we'll have to come back to Jennifer here. Let's see. Let's find the next question here. Let's see. I'm coming from high school into Moorpark, and I'm planning on taking anatomy first semester. Can I take physiology since I'll be enrolled in anatomy? And then the next question is, when are the nursing workshops? So yes, you can technically take anatomy and physiology together, provided that you've already completed chemistry. Okay, so if you have already successfully completed chemistry, let's say in high school, you completed a year of chemistry, you got C's or better both semesters, then once you're registered in anatomy, then you can request prerequisite clearance for physiology. Okay, so again, two things. One, you have to be already enrolled in anatomy, and two, we need to see confirmation that you've completed that chemistry back in high school. So again, you're gonna have to bring in that transcript or request that prerequisite clearance online through our website. Okay, and then also nursing workshops. So if you go to our website, moorparkcollege.edu/counseling, there is a link on our counseling page for workshops, and if you click on the nursing one, then our schedule should be up for the fall. If it's not there just yet, then it should be up in the next couple of weeks. All right, and then you can just either call in to our counseling office or visit us in Fountain Hall to actually schedule yourself into one of those nursing workshops. All right, Erin, are you ready for our next question?
Yep.
All right.
All right, so I won't be able to meet with a counselor before July 10th, which is your registration date, so I'm not sure what to register for. Is it okay to wait to register for classes until after I meet with my counselor? You can wait to register for your classes until you meet with a counselor, but depending on what you're registering for, your classes could fill up really fast. So typically in the first semester for a student, what we suggest taking an English course, which is, again, typically for most students, English MO1A. We suggest taking your math course. Again, that is all determined by where you placed on the assessment and potentially what the highest math you completed in high school was. And then we suggest taking a class maybe geared more towards your major, and then potentially even a general education class. If you're looking to be a full-time student, you would need to be enrolled in 12 units to be considered full-time. So each class has different units that it's worth, so it's all going to be dependent upon what courses you're going to be taking, how many you would need to take to be full-time, that sort of thing. But very first semester, like I said, we typically suggest English, math, a major class, and a general education class.
All right, thanks, Aaron. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and take Ren's question here. Is it possible to be enrolled in Moorpark for longer than two years to finish all prereqs needed to transfer? If so, would that look bad on college application? So is it possible to be here longer than 2 years? Absolutely. And in fact, for some of the earlier questions, we were talking about biology majors, chemistry majors. So those are what are considered STEM majors. So I work a lot with engineering majors. So yes, it is actually very typical for students to spend more than 2 years here. So oftentimes students will spend 3 years here, sometimes even a little bit longer, to finish all the requirements. In terms of how that looks as part of the admissions process, it's not going to be held against you in any way, shape, or form. In fact, a lot of schools, it's expected. That's kind of the norm. When you're doing any major in the sciences, is you're probably, more often than not going to be spending that extra year here. Just because there's so much science that goes in a very specific order that you're not able to tackle in the 2 years. So no, it's not going to look bad. It's not going to hold you back in terms of transferring. All right, let's see. Jen, it looks like you're back with us. Are you ready for our next question?
Yeah, of course. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened. All right. So Gigi, looks like you're asking about signing up for summer courses starting July 17th. So you can actually register for those courses now. Until July 10th, but you can actually register for those courses now. The July 10th registration date is in order to register for your fall semester courses.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. Aaron, are you able to take the next question?
Yeah. Okay, so I was just trying to find the right one. All right, so I'm trying to sign up for Math MO5, but it says I need a prereq, which is Algebra 2. I turned in my transcript today. How long does it take for the process to go through? So your question, you turned in your transcript, but the next step is you actually needed to meet with a counselor to have them clear you to take the class. So if you only turned in your transcript, you were not cleared to take any classes. You actually have to meet with a counselor to be cleared to take those classes. So if you need to be cleared to take Math MO5, it would be dropping by Express Counseling, and we can clear you to take the correct classes then and there.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. So we're going to take the last couple of questions here before we conclude. So let's see. Got Priscilla here. Does 4 classes equal 12 units? Possibly. It depends on what those 4 classes are. On average, a lot of our classes are 3 units. So in that scenario, yes, 4 classes would be 12 units. A lot of our math classes tend to be 4 or 5, sometimes even 6 units. Same thing goes with science. Those tend to be higher unit. So it really depends on the classes that you're taking. If it's like dance or PE, those are 1 or 2 unit classes. So taking 4 of those would not necessarily equal the 12 units. But if you're taking 4 3-unit classes, then yes, of course, it's going to equal the 12 units. So let's see, Jennifer, if you're still with us, if you can take the next question.
Yes. So goal lines. So it looks like you may be an international student, and I may have missed the part where they responded to you earlier. So just in case, so you do want to get in contact with our international student office. They actually have a separate application process for international students. So if you did apply already and got in contact with Stacy, she is our international student specialist, and she would be able to, go over all the required documents that you need. But if you go into our moorparkcollege.edu/ISP, that goes straight into our international student webpage, and it'll actually show you the application form and all the required documents that you'll need. In order to apply to Moorpark College, you have to do an online application, or sorry, you'd have to do actually a paper application. There is a fee to apply. You do have to send a written statement of why you want to come to Moorpark College, references, financial statement, and so there are some required documents that are needed in order to apply as an international student. And so definitely recommend getting in contact with Stacy. Look into our international student webpage. It has all the required documents that you would need and step-by-step instructions.
All right, great. Thank you, Jennifer. So we're going to go ahead and conclude for tonight. We first and foremost want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight. As we mentioned earlier, this is the first time that we put something like this together, and we really want to thank you for participating and for sending in all your questions. As you saw, there are a lot of different variables to a lot of your questions. And sometimes it's not just a simple yes or no, type of question. So we've said this multiple times, but we definitely want to encourage you to come in and meet with us, whether that's through a scheduled appointment. We talked about walk-in Wednesdays, or using some of our online resources like the online counseling forum or our video counseling services to connect with us, because we've been sometimes we've been trying to go over the same question multiple times. And like I said, there's just a lot of variables to these questions, and so we want to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page and that we're getting you the right information before you sign up for classes. So again, we invite you to come in or to utilize our online resources. So if there's any questions that you have moving forward after we conclude here tonight, please definitely reach out through our online counseling forum or come in and visit us. Jennifer, Aaron, is there anything that you guys want to leave with tonight?
Just thank you for joining us. Hopefully, we see you in the counseling office.
Thanks, guys. It was fun doing all of this.
All right, awesome. Everyone, have a great night. Thank you again for joining us.